Just do what you think is great, because when you're pregnant, it's not a disability. Pregnancy is just a state of being. I can still do life basically however I want, as long as I'm staying away from, smoking, drugs, alcohol, all the bad things. You're gonna be fine. Just be a good, normal person, and pregnancy is gonna be good for you. Hello and welcome to another video from me, Danielle. Today we are talking about the top 7 mistakes you are making while you're pregnant. And basically, I'm saying this because there's a lot of things out there that people tell you and you're just like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta follow this, and man, it's gonna really make a big difference. I found out after I'm 20 weeks pregnant with my 3rd child. Most of it's BS. You don't have to follow it. And these are gonna be dumb little tips like, don't eat lunch meat, don't eat salad, oh, make sure you stay away from tuna. No. That's the stuff that I was told my first pregnancy, and it drove me a little insane. But guess what? I ate Jimmy John's after every appointment for the last 2 pregnancies. That was my lunch after I went to a doctor's appointment. So if you're still interested after that intro, let's get into these tips. Number 1, and this one's huge for me, you should be exercising while you're pregnant. Now, you will get many people's opinions on don't run, don't lift weights, don't do too much bouncing, don't do too much walking, you might hurt the baby. Unless you are at a high-risk pregnancy and your doctor advises you to not do exercise, there is no reason on God's green earth that you shouldn't exercise. It helps your mood, it helps control your weight gain so that your baby develops properly, you don't have a higher risk for things like gestational diabetes, and honestly, it just makes you feel better all around. On days that I run and days I don't run, I can even tell the difference in my body and how I feel by the end of the day. Usually, I'm feeling a lot better on days that I exercise. My energy's higher, my mood's higher. Whether you exercise before pregnancy or you're gonna start while you're pregnant, I don't think it makes a difference. So some doctors will say don't try anything intense or too new to your body, which is, good advice. Don't go and run a marathon if you've never ran a day in your life while you're pregnant. But if you're someone who's generally just a normal person, you don't have too many health issues, anything like that, doing walking, body weight exercises, nothing that's extreme intensity, you can definitely pick up at any stage of pregnancy and be fine. Number 2, and this has to do with eating. You're either eating too much or too little. Don't do that. When you eat too little, it'll just make you feel sick. Don't worry about your weight when you're pregnant because you're gonna gain weight. I gained 40 pounds with my last 2 pregnancies. Probably gonna gain at least that with this one because I had slow weight gain at first, but I can feel I'm putting the pounds on a little faster. But don't gain too much weight too fast because that's also bad for you. That's when you are higher risk for gestational diabetes. You can have issues with the baby if you put too much weight on. There's a lot of risk factors involved if you do that. So make sure that you're kind of hitting your sweet spot. Eat till you're full. Eat foods that you want to eat. So enjoy it. Enjoy the foods that you want to enjoy, and then maybe you restrict yourself from a little bit when you're not pregnant because you're on a diet, things like that. But just don't go overboard. Number 3, don't rush pregnancy. Now, with my first baby, I felt like I did this. I rushed through and I was like, man, when is this baby gonna be born? I'm so excited. Like, I wanna see him. I don't wanna be pregnant anymore. I wanna wear my clothes again that I wore when I was not pregnant. I wanna be like in good shape again. I wanna be running those records. And, overall, I just wanna hold a baby. So I do feel like I didn't fully enjoy pregnancy. I didn't take in those moments of all the baby kicks. I didn't take in the moments of like getting to just sit down and literally talk to a stomach. Like, that's weird if you're not pregnant, right? But you get to do that when you're pregnant. And just, take a load off. When you're pregnant, people treat you differently. They give you more grace than they do when you're not pregnant. So it feels really good to just be like, okay, I get to do this because I'm pregnant. I don't have to take the trash out tonight because I'm pregnant. That's your job now. There's things like that you can pass off, especially in the 3rd trimester. Enjoy that one because that is the one that is the worst and goes the slowest. I'll be honest. And I have easy pregnancies. I have with my last 2, crossing my fingers, this one still is easy. But even in that 3rd trimester, you just get sick of it. And I wish that in my last month of pregnancy, I would just enjoy it a little bit more. Take those bump pictures, get those maternity pictures if you want. Take the family pictures so that you can remember the baby there. And enjoy it. Just really, really fully enjoy pregnancy because you only get to do it, possibly only once if you're pregnant right now, but you don't do it a bunch of times in your life. You get a few times. Number 4, and I am so guilty of this, can ask anyone who knew me when I was pregnant with my first baby. I read way too much shit. I was reading way too many things about what can go wrong with baby, how baby's supposed to be growing, what size your bump's going to be. Oh, what does this person look like when they're pregnant at the exact same time as me? Oh, and what is the baby supposed to be like after it's born? Am I supposed to do this, and this? Education is great. I am all about education. I did so much education with every pregnancy because things are a little different between pregnancies. But with my first one, I read too much bad information. You know, going into what I brought at the beginning of the video, don't eat lunch meat, don't eat salads, fish is awful for you. You know, there are some truths to, yes, listeria is in lunch meat and also found in like romaine lettuce. But the likelihood of you getting anything from that is very low. Don't listen to all the information out there. Everyone's going to have something to say about pregnancy and what you should or shouldn't be doing. Follow what feels good in your heart. Follow what your doctor tells you is good, and just feel good about what you're doing. As long as your baby is developing well, growing, and you aren't feeling weird pains in your stomach and you're not having bleeding, things like that, you are fine. Just do what you think is great, because when you're pregnant, it's not a disability. Pregnancy is just a state of being. That's how I always view it. It's just something that's going on in my body. I can still do life basically however I want, as long as I'm staying away from, you know, smoking, drugs, alcohol, all the bad things. You're going to be fine. Just be a good, normal person, and pregnancy is going to be good for you. Number 5, this ties right into the information piece. Listening to too many voices. Like I said, that information's not just about what you're reading online. It's also about who you're listening to. So one key tip I can give you if you're a first-time mom, or, you know, if you're doing this a couple times around, don't listen to all 12 people that give you 12 different pieces of advice. Find 2 to 3 people that you really trust. You think that they are great parents. You think that they really have done things well. You think that their pregnancies have went well, and trust them. Follow their advice. It's always great to have advice from someone. I mean, I myself, when I was pregnant my first time around, no one else was pregnant around me. I mean, I had my mom who had 6 kids, so I had her giving me a little bit of impact, but she also was pregnant. The last time she was pregnant was in 95. So a lot has changed in just how we view pregnancy and how we view medical everything. So even if some of her suggestions are like ones that I wouldn't necessarily follow, or like she even would tell me, I think this is outdated, but this is what my doctor said. So, you know, there's things that you need to take with a grain of salt. So if you have a few friends that maybe were recently pregnant and you think they just did a great job with their pregnancies, they had good pregnancies, ask them what they did and see if it's something that maybe you can adapt for your own life. Or, you know, there's plenty of people on YouTube here that I think do give great advice and have great tips to make pregnancy a little bit easier on yourself, enjoy it a little bit more, and go find them, because, you know, the mom community here on YouTube, there are so many good communities out there. Number 6, and this is something that I myself didn't really deal with. I mean, I'm a pretty laid back, relaxed person, which when I say that, it shocks people, because if you look at my life, you would think I'm more stressed out than I am, because I'm very calculated and want things done a certain way. But it doesn't stress me out as much as you might think if it's not done that way. But it's all about, don't be too anxious. Don't be too worried. A lot of women get anxiety, not just postpartum, which is what you hear about more. They get it when they're pregnant, about worrying about the baby. They worry about if they're doing everything 100% correct. And, oh my gosh, if I take that Tylenol, my child's going to develop autism. Like, that's just things I see online. I see so many of those ads a day on Facebook about Tylenol and autism. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, don't put these things in my mind. I don't need to be thinking about this right now. So let's try to worry less. Just as a society, we should try to worry less, but let's really try to worry less about our babies. As long as you're going to your regular doctor's appointments, things are looking good, don't worry. Now, when should you worry? If you're having bleeding, weird pains, if you aren't feeling the baby move in your 3rd trimester, those are things to actually worry about. Don't let your mind get the best of you. That's very hard. As long as you are listening to the logical part of you, you're going to be fine. And number 7, this is a vanity thing through and through all the way, but I guarantee you it's going to make pregnancy better. Dress for your bump. Accentuate that bump. Show off that you're pregnant. Own it. Because honestly, there's not that many women out there who are pregnant around you. When you go out into the store, you might find 1 or 2 other women, but it's not like you see a pregnant woman every day. Wear those cute dresses. I wear so many cute things when I'm pregnant compared to when I'm not, because I want to show off that bump. I want to take pictures with that bump, because you only get it for really like 6 months you have a bump, really even less. So show it off, especially in the cute stages when you're not huge yet. But when you're huge, people are like, whoa, look at that lady. So that also is kind of cool, kind of funny. I enjoy it. But yeah, dress nice, dress up how you feel comfortable, and dress for that pregnancy body, because I don't see why we shouldn't be showing off our bumps. I enjoy it. I think other people like to see the pregnancy bumps, and they like to be like, oh, look at that cute pregnant lady. Well, those are my 7 mistakes that you are making while you're pregnant. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned, because my next video coming up in this series is going to be the mistakes you are making postpartum. So stay tuned for that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.